Hello world, my name is Tim Roswick.
And I'm Rick Davidson.
And we're going to talk about HackNet and what makes it work. You ready, Rick?
Ready and raring. I haven't seen HackNet. Thanks for showing me this, Tim.
I'm happy to play this. This is my kind of game. So real quick, I just want to say that I like when games have like the menu in their like lore and world, right? So like new session and like the settings look like a Windows of old type of like deal. And I just like that stuff. So then
that font's really small though. How's that on your screen? I'm looking at it going like, how?
On my screen, I like it. I think it's a balance between like usability and stuff, but like I kind of like it's got like this hackery type CMD type of like deal. I'm going to call
Shouldn't there be like ones and zeros on a green background if you're hacking?
Yeah, that's what happens every time. You just hit enter and you say, I'm in, and then the mainframe gets hacked.
Oh, you're using my name. The NSA is going to find this password. I'm not telling you the password. No. Oh, okay, you make one up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know if I got to remember 1, 2, 3, 4. Confirm. See, I do need to remember it. Okay.
This is pretty cool, though. Oh, and look at that. That all. Oh.
Press enter to confirm.
This feels like I'm doing work, though, Tim.
Did it freeze?
Enter to confirm.
Oh, no.
Ready.
See, this is what I mean,
cool,
though.
Yeah.
Like, I
like that.
The game's called HackNet. It makes me want to feel like a hacker, right? By making me log in like that and then doing this already is adding to the feeling. And I'm a little biased, right? I'm making a hacking game, but like,
yeah,
I like this.
There's a consistency there. Yep.
14-day timer expired. Initializing failsafe.
Okay.
Hi.
Something went wrong.
This is strange. Stranger than I expected. I guess I'm supposed to write this in past tense, though I hardly feel like admitting it's over. My name is Bit, and if you're reading this, I'm already dead.
Okay.
Bit's dead.
Oh.
We got a little bit of
theme
music.
Really nicely, isn't it? Yeah, this is cool.
Loading modules. Yeah. Like, it plays like a simulator, not like a...
Yeah.
You are at risk. Learn as quickly as possible. Begin the tutorial sequence. Okay, that was...
I thought it was going to say you should use a VPN because we know your IP address.
Rick Davidson. Let's log in to your computer.
No, not my actual computer.
Successful.
This whole game's making me very nervous, Tim. Before when you said just give me remote access to your computer, Rick, it'll make the video recording better.
It's all
By
good.
the end of this, it's like there was no YouTube video. I own your bank accounts.
The developer of this said that when he was making this game, he wanted it to be so realistic that you couldn't play it in an airport. And,
okay, that's cool.
I mean, you could tell it's a game, but like still, it's got enough qualities to it where it's like,
yeah,
you know, it looks. Let's view file system. Okay. Scan it for adjacent nodes.
Like so far, I'm like, what part is the game and what part is the menu and what part's like logging in? It's great. Yeah. I like it.
It's very atmospheric. Like it's very immersive. So it told me to scan a node, and it turns out there's one computer connected to your computer. We're gonna find out who's trying to hack you, Rick.
Everything about this makes me nervous.
Okay, this is locked. The VM's terminal module has been activated. This will be your primary interface for navigating interfacing with nodes. A command can be run by typing it out and pressing enter. Okay. Using the probe command. So this whole game is kind of text-based, so probe. And this runs the actual program. So it's like in command line where it's making me interact with the game. Obviously, this is going to have a specific type of audience, right? Like this game isn't made for everybody, but I think that's one of the things that makes it work is like it says, okay, you don't like text-based stuff, like you're not really going to be into a hacking simulator from the first place. And rather than dumb it down for everybody, it goes hardcore for the people that are into it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Delight the people who are into this stuff and annoy the people who aren't. The people who aren't is like, cool, there's plenty of people out there who are going to like your thing. You don't have to cater to everyone. We often fall into the trap of trying to be the Nintendo, trying to make Mario. Well, everyone loves Mario, so I'm going to make a game that everyone loves. But you just, as an indie developer with a team of 1 or 2, you just don't get to make Mario that everyone loves. You have to get there and say, anyone who likes hackery type things and typing type things and, the tons of information on the screen is going to love this game.
Yeah.
That's the way to make your game.
Yeah, and I think too, like we talked about before, I think that there's two main parts to a game, right? There's the mechanics, and then there's like the fantasy or the genre or the theme, right? And I think this is one of those games that takes that theme first very, very seriously, right? Like it says, okay, we've got this theme. Everything that we make you do is going to kind of pull you in from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, this is the type of game where it's like I'm talking and I probably should be focusing because
you're gonna.
I like it makes me want to do it.
Someone's gonna
right?
own my computer
Yeah.
if you're not paying attention here.
So I'm scanning.
And
No
we talk a
results.
lot in our videos, Tim, about the player experience, what you're getting out of this, and it's super clear. The developer has said, I want the player to feel like a hacker. Like that's very, very clear.
Right.
And then I'm a big fan as well of having all of the different parts of your game support that experience. The name of your game, the marketing you do for the game, the visuals for the game, the any names of characters you have, it all should push towards that consistent approach. And I really like that this game is called HackNet. If you want to be a hacker, you play HackNet. It makes sense. It all fits together. If this game was called like Crazy Terminals, then maybe that would doesn't quite feel quite as good. But you often just take the name and put it in there. Like talking to the guys who developed Darkest Dungeon, the whole game is all about like darkness of the game and world and psychological insanity. And the name is Darkest Dungeon. Like it's right in the name. You know the experience in the name. I like that. So if you're sitting out there wondering what to name your game, start with the player experience.
Well, it's interesting too because like you think about the player fantasy of being a hacker, and what is going to make that person really, really interested in it? Well, hack and net are like two words that totally would attract that audience, and they put them together, HackNet. And that's what attracted me to the game, honestly, because I was like, oh,
that's a cool strategy for naming a game. Say you're making a platformer where it's all about, I don't know, doing massive jumps. You know, your game could be called Rocket Jump or Big Jump or, you know, Jump Extreme or Extreme Jump Master. Like it's a good way to start in terms of making your game, your name, I think.
Right.
Anyway, back to what we're doing here. Let's look more at the gameplay. What else have we got?
So it just gave me a help command, and when I type the help command, a lot of these commands, by the way, are actually pretty similar to actual CMD commands, if not the exact same, which makes it even better for somebody that does know enough around the command prompt to, you know, do something. It makes it really interesting to, like, obviously there's some abstractions, and I just deleted somebody's System 32.
Educational game. This could be edu-gaming.
Well, based on the subject matter, it's probably we get somebody in trouble
something
here.
They'll be teaching in high school.
I mean, you're gonna get hacked now, Rick, if it's educational, because they know how to connect to your node.
Is the spot that we're looking right down the very, very bottom right of the whole thing down
this
there?
is like all my command
That's going to be
prompt.
covered by our video play bar, isn't it? So you know.
Sometimes, if they stop pressing pause, then they'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
So right now it just gave me a help command, and what I like about this too, I just want to say, it says type help command, and it'll give me a complete list of commands. So if I'm like a programmer type and I like to figure stuff out, I can literally do all of this by typing help and figuring out which of these commands would be the most relevant to do, or it's got a little hint button. So if I'm like, hey, maybe I'm not sure what to do, right? I can just hit this, and it says the command PS will list the PID of every currently running process. So I can just type PS.
I like that as well. It didn't say, hey, if you're stuck, type PS. It just said, by the way, it might be interesting for you to know that you could type this if you wanted to. It still feels like I'm choosing it.
When I hit hint again, it lists the same thing. I would have liked to see another contextual clue that could walk somebody through it if they get lost. But
right. Well, maybe that's back to what we were saying before. If you can't figure that out, the hint said go type something. Okay, now I've learned type something. I'll try typing the other things. If the hint said, okay, now type this thing. Okay, now type this thing. Then it's not really treating you like a hacker, is it? That's going a bit too far.
So my thought process is I saw a command called kill PID, and then it's just told me about a process, how I get the process IDs. So I just typed kill 130, which is the PID of this one. And I think that was what I was supposed to do, and I got an email.
You love emails.
I love them so much. So Bit sent me an email. Hi, I don't know you, and I'm sad to say that I never will, but if you're reading this, it means you might be the only person that can make things right. Right now, I'm trapped. There's no way out and not enough time. I need your help. But there's something you need to take care of first. The faster, the better. HackNet OS wasn't meant to be released as it is now. Even after a while, automated tracker will activate itself. We can't let that happen. Connect to your own node. It should be the green on your NetApp. Then find delete securitytracer.exe. When you're done, just reply to this email. Okay.
That's so cool. You know what's cool about this? If you just hang tight for a second, we're playing Hue recently and reviewing that, and there was a story in it, but the story just seemed to be, here's some flavor about stuff that's going on. Doesn't really matter. We were reading that, and I was interested in it, and I imagine most players would be interested in it, giving a little bit of story, but it's also, what the heck do I have to do? So if you can combine story and gameplay in the one narrative, in the one dialogue, in the one piece of exposition, then people are going to absorb it a lot more than if it's just flavor. Rescue the princess, right? Because in ye olden times, the magic guy, like, I don't care. Just what do I do to win this game? Join the two together, and people really focus on it.
Well, you know what's interesting is in that game too, there was little email icons, and I was getting annoyed that they kept popping up. But in a game about hacking, I'm like, it makes total sense. I would get an email. Let me read this real quick because I got to hack somebody, right? Like the contextual difference is so different that, especially because the game like is requiring me to do something, right? So I know that it's somewhere listed in text. So where otherwise, where I might run past text in other games, this game makes me actually want to read it and figure out, because that's the whole context of the game. Is I'm in a thing trying to hack and figure stuff out. So
similarly, if you've got a game that's very visual and you're doing a cutscene to give some story, have in the background, you know, there's the key, and you can kind of look at it while someone's yabbering away, like, that key looks like it's up on the ledge behind the whatever. Like, give people gameplay information as well, even if it's visual.
Right. I like it. Okay. It's got this like dialogue tree system where I can kind of look through, but then I can type commands too. So I saw securitytracer.exe. I'm going to type rm, which is the command for remove. I'm going to hit enter, and it's deleting it. And then it said respond to this email when you're done. So
yeah, that's really cool. And I think nowadays so many people are spending so much time at their computer, maybe not necessarily programming in the command line like this, but you get these things, adding files, removing files, having to dig around in settings. So I think most people would have a pretty intuitive, most gamers already have a pretty good feel of how to navigate their way around a computer. So it's not a stretch to turn that into a game.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Okay, so now I introduce the port hack ability. So I can...
Okay, and there's a red dot down there, so I'm thinking
that's scary.
Red dot. Yeah.
That's the person that's trying to hack you, Rick. We gotta get him.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I think we type connect to an external computer. I think we type the IP address. So connect to 25.107.149. Even something simple as this is making me type in an IP address, if that's what I'm supposed to do. Makes me feel cool. Yeah, and that's connected me.
That feels like what you would actually do, isn't it?
Right. So I'm connected, and now I want to scan. So I'm just going to type scan.
Viper Battle Station.
Admin access. Okay, so I'm going to probe it first. Okay, so now I got access to the ports, but they're not open. So I can use port hack to hack the ports.
What do you think about that visualization right behind your head over there? That's a little bit dramatic.
It is, but it leans into that fantasy.
Yeah.
You know, like I talk about this a lot with my game. Like, it's not necessarily about what's the most realistic. It's about what they think it's like, right? If you can give them that, then that's almost more powerful than the realistic thing. Because if a real hacking simulator would be like walking around dropping flash drives in front of a company over and over again and like calling people, you know what I mean? Like, it's really boring, stupid work. It's not like interesting with like some hardcore beats and like, you know. Okay, so now we have access to their system. So I can, and there's okay, so we can, how do I copy a file? Because this is interesting. CD move. Okay, so
you've been trained to type in help, and now we're looking through help, And you could just try each of these, couldn't you? You type in some things and see how it goes. So people aren't going to get stuck, but there's a little bit of hand holding, but still you're going to feel clever when you get this right.
Right. And I think it's just enough. Like, it kind of points you and says, hey, this is the general vicinity where you should go. Like with the process thing, I knew the process ID was important, and then I see a command that requires a process ID, so I'm like, okay. So move.
If you get any more information than this, all of a sudden that fantasy of being a hacker is gone.
Right.
It says type these exact words, then you're like, well, I'm not a hacker anymore. I'm just a guy who's doing work.
Oh, okay. So it says download. That move is the wrong one. So I use SCP to download. So I want to download sshcrack.exe. So that gives me a new ability in the game by downloading. And then I have to clear the logs. So I go to the log folder. And then I hit remove and then the star key, which is all files. So it keeps a log of everything you do, so you gotta make sure you clear the log so they can hack you back.
Okay.
Which I like. Cool. Yes.
How did you know that you needed to remove the log?
Because before
clear
when I
logs
played this
over
game,
in the left. Is that in the left-hand side?
Yeah, it's
there?
in the left-hand side. But I also
yeah.
did not clear logs when I played this a long time ago. And you get incoming hacks, which are terrifying. Because it gives you like this timed event where you gotta like do stuff.
And so watching it here, it seems that there's one playthrough. It's linear with a story. You know, you start, you play for however many, 7 hours, 20 hours, and at the end you kind of win. Is that the flow to it, or is there some randomness that each game's a bit different? Is there any procedurally kind of stuff? Would each game play, each time you play it through, would it be the same experience?
You know, I don't know. I think this was the same. I played it so long ago, I don't remember, but I think it's a curated experience. And I think for something like this, I think that's probably the better. Like, it'd be interesting to see a procedurally generated game like this, right? But I think just the way the tutorial works and all that, I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
So let's connect to this one over here. It's red. I don't know about this, Rick, but we're gonna
do it.
Connect. What's the IP here? 74.125.237.119.
Even that little detail there is cool, that you have to be moused over it. I assume you can't just click there and have that stay. You need to actively be engaging in that red dot to get the IP.
So
we've learned the ports.
And then so all the ports are locked, and I can't do anything if I don't get in a port. So I got to do a port hack, which is an ability that I have. Oh, I got a port hack. Open additional ports on target machine. Okay, the firewall is detected. So now I got to figure out a way around the firewall.
And you can see visually that's really clear. Proxy and firewall.
Right.
Like, okay, this is an important bit of information. Yeah, and having it as a big bar between you and the ports, that visualization, that could be the sort of visualization you would see in a hacking program to help you out. That doesn't seem Hollywood, doesn't seem too abstract or too unrealistic.
Right. Oh, we got a new file, huh? We got, what did we get? SSH crack? Can we use that? sshcrack.exe? Execution failed. No port number.
You have to have some sort of...
Oh, I got to tell it a port. SSH crack. Type 80. Target port incompatible. Oh, maybe the SSH port. 22 would be good for SSH crack. See, like, even this thought process is interesting to me. So 22, it gives me that port. Proxy active, cannot activate. So this is, I like that it gives you the feedback in the command line too. So I do a thing, it's bad, it doesn't work, but it tells me why it doesn't work. So I started way farther than I was now, but I've kind of worked my way backwards by trying the wrong things. Whereas like we were talking about in the other video, where if you give somebody too many mechanics, they can throw the wrong mechanic at the problem over and over again and not know that they're wrong. Whereas like this, it's very clear that what I did was wrong, and it tells me why it was wrong, right? And then so I'm systematically eliminating, which coincidentally falls really well into that whole hacker programmer type of like problem solving, right?
Yes. Yeah, programming and hacking is not a case of saying, here's the problem, oh, well, that's clearly the solution, job done. There's a lot of do a thing, didn't quite work, fix it up, dig into your code, try it again, did a thing, but that broke something else. So again, like what I'm taking out of this whole game, this whole experience is that there's a consistency. If you want someone to feel a way in your game, have everything feel that particular way.
Right.
And if you're making a game and you're saying, well, I'm just making a fun shooter, then your game is going to be flat. It's not going to have someone be like, wow, that was really amazing. I can't quite say why, but it was amazing. Is because the experience is not clear to the player. This is clear at all. Everything speaks to that one experience of making people feel like a hacker. So yeah, this is great from that point of view. I like it.
Well, I like too that, like, you know, there's a question I've been asked, what comes first, the theme or the mechanics? It's like the chicken and egg problem, right? But I don't think there's a right answer. I think this game, it's the theme first, right? 100%.
I would argue that the experience came first in this game, and then the theme and the mechanic is sort of the same, feeding into that. The experience, I want someone to feel like a hacker, and then let's play around with, or maybe that's what you're calling the theme in this instance. Yeah,
I meant, that's what I meant. It was like the feel like a hacker, and I guess that would be the experience. But that's clearly in the forefront, right? Like it's 100% the focus, and everything else in the game has to rely on that.
Yeah.
I also like that it does have this kind of visual interface. Like I can click on computers and kind of do the same stuff that I could do in there. So I'm kind of viewing the file system to make sure I deleted all the logs.
If it was just all text, it would get a little bit dry after a while, wouldn't it? But we do have enough sort of variety, and the screen real estate is done pretty well. It doesn't feel cramped. The font is nice and tiny, but I think that also feels hackery because hackers don't have massive grandmother font on their screen, do they? They've got lots and lots of little information that they're looking at.
You know what I like too is like you go in the home folder and you just got random little notes. You got like YouTubers.txt.
Oh,
and
cool.
it's got like cool YouTubers and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Notes.txt. Finally managed to torrent my sweet new Hackser program. Like this kind of stuff is like delightful, right? Like it's cool to find.
Little Easter eggs.
Right.
Yeah.
You can poke around in different systems. Okay, so when I scanned, I found a new node. So let me try this one. We're gonna probe. We found the ports, but we got a firewall. We keep running into firewalls, and I don't know how to get around the firewall.
What's the firewall tool?
The reason I keep looking in these different systems is I feel like maybe there's a tool to get around the firewall.
That's great. So in terms of how do I progress, like a lot of games that we play are very visual. You have a room, within the room you have tools or keys or things that you can do. The rooms here are those nodes, and then the things we're doing in those rooms, like you say, there might be a key, there might be a new tool, there might be a door that you need to open.
Yeah, and then, okay, let me go back, because he gave me, what did he tell me to do? Download any files using command. Always seems, okay, so HackNet quick reference sheet, which is, this, so I actually downloaded this, I didn't realize that, but I downloaded that from the email, that's kind of cool. That's right. Even little stuff like this, honestly, is like, it's cool that the game has that, right? Like, it feels interesting. So let me
Jmail, and notice how a lot of the names are parodies. There was Macrosoft, there's Jmail. What's entropy asset cache? What was that all about?
Where connected? Oh, that's the name of this server.
Oh, I see. Right.
But we're still running into firewalls, so. Let me go back to...
I'm sure anyone who's played this game already is like, just click on the thing, just type in remove firewall.
So, this is what I like. Okay, so again, it comes down to like thematically, right? Where this is where I don't necessarily think one thing that works for one game can work for all other games. There's a lot of games where like, if I get frustrated, it makes me want to quit, right? For me personally.
Yep.
This game doesn't make me want to quit. This game makes me want to figure it out because I feel like it's a match for me thematically, and it's a match for me like just game wise, right? So that match is really, really important of like the experience with the type of person that enjoys that experience, and the fact that they went all out on that experience makes me want to like just sit here all day and like go through file
there's
systems.
There's also a feeling of trust that the answer is there.
Right.
So say you're playing a platformer and you just can't get past, and you've tried all the buttons and you've run through all the rooms. You're like, I'm missing something, but I don't trust that the answer is here. Maybe the game's broken, or maybe I don't have the thing I needed to get, whatever. But here, it's a little bit like when you do a Where's Waldo or Where's Wally image. You'd know for sure it's in there, because that's, you know, it has to be there. And it's a guy with a striped shirt, and you just have to keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. It feels like you've been given 20 different spots to look in here. It's definitely there somewhere.
Right. Rick, you brought back a memory. When I was testing Phasmophobia, there was a person that tested the game and they encountered a bug that did not let them continue, but they had such trust in the game that they continued to try it for like 30 minutes, and it was obviously not possible, but they trusted me so much. And then after that, they played the game again, and the amount of bug reports that I got from them was ridiculous because they lost that trust. They were just like, I don't trust that anything works, so everything that is not the way I think it should be just got listed as a bug report. It was great. Okay, so I feel like it's got to be this server, and I don't know how to get. Okay, so hold on. Connect to Gmail. Or, oh, this is Gmail, and I have a Gmail account, right? Probe system. Here are the ports. I can't do any of this, but I can log in and ask for a username and password. You know what? I wasn't looking for text files in some of these other. I wonder if there are text files in some of these servers. Connect to 177.252.
Oh, you missed a space.
90.35. Did I? Ooh. I like that it gives me the arrow keys too, because command prompt doesn't do that. It pisses me off. Alright, so view file system. Insufficient privilege. Okay, let's try this one. Oh, so I can just click on these and connect once I've already connected to them. That's cool. So, home, YouTubers, notes. So we can kind of scan for. Oh, this gives me give me IP address. So what if I just hit connect 199.59.149.230? Could not find. Oh, I typed it wrong. Shit. See, this makes me feel like a cool hacker right here.
Yeah.
Finding a text file.
Typing things in wrong.
Yes. That's the experience. Honestly, that's the realistic hacker.
That is a lot of it, isn't it?
I can't figure it out.
Why isn't this working? Oh, I put the parentheses in the wrong spot. I didn't put in the semicolon.
Realistic experience here. Okay.
3 hours of your life lost because you didn't put a thing in the right spot.
See, that's a really cool moment right there. I found a text file on a computer with an IP address, and I connected to that IP address, and now I found a hidden server that I can probe, and it's got a proxy. Keep running into these. Okay, so I'm going to keep going through text files now because I learned something new.
So, what have we? Should we do what we've learned from this? I think now you're getting deep. Now you're getting deep. I can see. Like, I just want to solve this puzzle. It's probably a good spot. Anyone watching this video is like, now I need to play this game because I'm stumped where Tim got stumped. So, what have we learned from this, Tim?
So I think over everything, like when I play a game, a lot of times I'll skip past stuff and I won't really be interested because the game kind of tells you what's important and what to focus on, right? And a lot of developers don't put that focus in the right place, and as a result, the whole system is kind of confusing because I don't know where to focus. I think this game does a good job at simulating the theme, right? It gives me the experience that I want, all the way from the name all the way in, right? From the name to the menu to the actual game. Like, I get a very consistent thing. And then on top of that, because I have that lens with which to view the game, everything that I experience puts this focus on what I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm supposed to be doing it, right? Like, the mechanics of this game are basically command prompt and file system. And with those two things, I mix and match and combine stuff to figure out my goal. And then on top of that, this game does a really good job of telling me why, when I did something wrong, why it was wrong. So I don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And that's an advantage of just text versus like a platformer, where if you're trying to jump on a platform and you can't jump there, you could keep trying to jump there, you just don't know you can't jump there. But yeah, that's what I think makes this game work personally.
Awesome. Yeah, and as we've talked about a lot, I really like that the story is linked with the gameplay information. So I actually care about the story because it's related to what I'm trying to do. The experience is great. It makes me feel like a hacker. And be different. This is different. This is not what you get from many games. This is unusual. I don't see indies making games like this often. Right. And when you make a game that's different, it stands out, and you've got a chance for people to talk about it, and you've got a chance for your game to succeed. Yeah,
the awesome. Check for distinctness is, can you show somebody a screenshot of your game, and can they confuse it with another game? If that answer is yes, it's not distinct enough, right? And you can't. Yeah. You can maybe confuse this for an actual real file system somewhere, right? But like, you can't confuse it with another game. And I think
it doesn't look like other games. Yeah.
No, that's what makes it work. So if you like this video, hit a like, hit a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Let us know what games you would like to see. And if you're on my channel, make sure you visit Rick's channel. Head on over there.
And from my channel, make sure you check out Tim's channel.
But we will see you all in the next video, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for joining us.